When you were going along for the ride and we explored with balloons, and then with your partner. Any questions? Any comments? Nauseous. When you were following someone's head, or when someone was following you? With everything. Yes, it does influence strongly the vestibular system, and as you're learning, the wiring in of our habits and our experience in space can be quite strong and significant. So as soon as you start perturbing your organisation of your head and often the eyes, nausea can be evoked. So I would say do less. Okay, do more. If you notice that correlation, do more. And whoever is going to be Judy's partner, depending on how maybe it won't happen today. She's a different person today than she was yesterday. Keep checking in. Keep checking in. Any other questions? No? It was easy to go for a ride?
No, it wasn't.
Thank you.
It wasn't easy to going for a ride, and it wasn't easy moving my hands on the person and going, where do I start, where do they finish? So I got bigger and then did very tiny movement and imagined that I was actually an extension of their spinal cord.
Ooh.
And that's
How'd that work?
That worked much better, and it got much quieter.
Okay.
Follow that. So learning to adjust one's learning to adjust. Oh, hang on, this is off. I'm blind. It doesn't matter. Learning to adjust the speed of your response when you're rolling someone's head or going for the ride. Learning to how to pay attention to that and adjusting your speed. In the same way that Judy was saying she's nauseous, so adjust your speed to that.
You can adjust your speed, or maybe it's not the day to roll for someone to have their head rolled. That's okay too. If that happens, if the practice feels like it's going to challenge you too much, can you listen to that and change what you're doing? Either go and watch somebody else. Tell your partner, I don't think I'm up for this today, you know? And yeah, so that's really an important consideration. So a couple of details today. I saw you were learning to get comfortable, to have your pelvis mobile, so that you could keep your spine long, free your arms, feel yourself. Today we're going to set it up so that you just check whether the plane of the person's face is parallel to the floor, because we didn't highlight that point yesterday, I think. So Yona's is fairly parallel with the floor. Her head's not tilted back at all, or it's not tilted up at all, which means there's the likelihood of more of a sensory connection when we explore rolling her head. The position of the legs we're going to explore with this, but first of all I'm just going to look at the line of symmetry of the body, the line of the face, which, if you recall, is the midline, taking it between the eyes, through the nose, through the chin. See where that line goes in reference to the central line of the spine, and whether I can guess, got 50% chance of being right, 50% chance of being wrong, which way she might roll her head first. So if you wanted to look at that more closely, you'd need to be either standing at her feet or standing behind me if you wanted to make that guess with me before she rolls her head. Could you roll your head a little bit to one side? And Yona understands a little. It's great. Okay. Pause for a moment. Would it be comfortable for you to roll your head a little further? And Yona is feeling a little uncomfortable in her neck and shoulders today, so she's listening to herself. And it's not so easy, and that's okay. Thank you. Which side did you feel was easier to, Yona? Or were you unclear? Was it not sure? It's okay, too.
I think I don't want to go very far that way, but I just naturally wanted to go in that direction. But it doesn't go very far.
Yeah.
This was just not.
Yep. Okay. So I'm going to just try and make contact here. Contact, and then feel the quality of my contact. I'm sensing my hand, her skin, her forehead, her skull. And then I'm thinking, can I feel the ground underneath her head? Not by pressing more necessarily, but by extending my intention and attention. You might notice I have my belly button in the direction, in line with my hand and the center of her spine. That means that I'm more able to keep the range of movement within my base of support. Now, that's as far as I could comfortably roll. How did that feel, Yona? So I'm going to change my position. Try my left hand. Thinking of keeping my spine long, because as soon as I do this, I'm going to put more weight on her head. On her head, on my hand, on her head. So when I make the contact, that gives me a moment both to listen to her and listen to myself. Might check my breathing and think that the movement of Yona's head is going to come from my pelvis. Is there anything that I could do that would make this more comfortable or helpful to your learning in any way, Yona?
In terms of your touch?
In terms of my touch or my contact?
I don't know yet.
That's good, thank you. Because you're learning, they're learning. Now there's many ways you can contact the head. And maybe one way feels more secure for Yona, so perhaps I'll try all three. So here, my hand is like melted cheese. I'm cupping, but I'm not letting my wrist bend any further. In fact, it's difficult for me in this position. So if I want to do that third way, maybe. So you see, I get myself as close as I can to the top of your head without having my legs interfering with her head. Sometimes the differences between the three different ways will seem more or less obvious. Okay.
So I felt like my skeleton was more happy to come along for the ride without like thought, or just felt like it was just there with it.
Okay.
More on that one.
And what I felt was you were a little more active in it. Okay. And it's very difficult to disengage the muscles of our neck.
Why did you choose the cheese hand to the straight hand?
Because I felt like it might give her a sense of herself that felt more secure. But not they're all going to be different, so I'm going to play. You're going to just explore the different ways. So look, I was a little too forwards. My arm was more bent. So if I can keep my spine long, I have more of the possibility of using my pelvis. Oops, I forgot the floor. Could you tell that I forgot the floor then?
Mm-hmm.
So we want to think of the system, the floor, the surface that she's moving in relationship to, the contact that we have, a lot to think about. My movability, using my pelvis to create the movement through my spine to my arm, to her system. That one felt a little easier for me. How did it feel to you?
Yeah, it was easier. I noticed this way there was like a shadow of pain, but like it wasn't tensing. It was just like a memory of it. Do you know what I mean?
So sometimes as we're doing it, our attention could be more on is more on ourselves, and sometimes it's more on the other person. So in those moments, we can have a break in our attention or our awareness of either ourselves or the other. That's often where something like that emerges. And I can feel that I'm a little concerned about Yona, and that creates a difficulty for me to keep my attention inclusive. So now I'm back to the ground. You see, I'm not even looking at Yona, but my sensing is with her. How about that?
Yep, better. Well, better in terms of it didn't feel painful.
Yeah, because I was more with her and with myself in the process. So now could you cross your right leg over your left leg? And could you bring your left foot a little bit? Actually, no. Leave your left foot out there. So now we're going to explore rolling your head. Maybe I want to cross my legs the other way. Ooh, that feels better. I thought I was good at sitting on the floor. So, thinking of my navel in line with her so that I can move. I could practice, just check that everything's free. Just going to see if this makes any difference. Contact, connect, floor. My pelvis. I can't move my pelvis that way at the moment. I don't know whether it's me or her. Shame. So now I've given myself a slight advantage of going in that direction. So I need to consider that. My hand, her head, floor. My pelvis, our system. Do you feel that your crossing of your legs made any difference?
I don't feel as much of this sort of movement.
Okay. So, what you can explore now. You can go along for a ride first or watch them rolling their head. Establish your alignment, your relationship to them. And then explore rolling their head from your pelvis, trying different hands, inviting feedback from your partner about the quality of your touch, thinking between hand, skull, floor. Not a lot. It's like 2 or 3 movements, stop, rest. Because it's very easy to overdo it for somebody and not to be aware that the musculature of their neck is working habitually. And you're going to play with the positions of legs. You could have the legs crossed, you could have the legs long, you could have the legs with the soles of the feet together, or any position you like. And again, explore rolling the head and see if it makes a difference. It's going to have 10 minutes each. Pardon? Can be wherever they like.
Should the range just be small, like what you've just done, or can it be whatever's comfortable for the person?
Whatever's comfortable, but explore the differences between doing it in a larger range and doing it in a small. If it's easier to do it in a large range, do it in a small range as well, and see what you notice.
So what we found yesterday was if the hand cupped, if the range was extended, then for me in particular, my elbow would hit the floor.
Great.
Really soon.
So you're already discovering, that's right. And you may remember me talking about, or may not have talked about it yet, that it's in the beginning of the movement where we are usually the most optimally organised. Very beginning. So it's not about how far you can turn necessarily, but it's what you can sense and feel, and you're helping the person sense themselves. And that's the way you want to create that contact connection with them, in a way that helps them sense themselves. Great. Okay? Thank you. And you ask for rest. Yes. Go return to your partner for a minute.